You are on per case and you've now picked up a new case. You now stand charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Your Honor, on April 3rd, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, law enforcement officer observed a vehicle fail to signal, turn into a private driveway, and initiated a traffic stop. Upon approaching the vehicle, the defendant, who was sitting in the passenger seat, could not roll down the window, and the defendant and the driver were detained for officer safety due to this issue. When the vehicle door was opened, the law enforcement officer observed the strong odor of marijuana and carried out a probable cause search. Law enforcement officer located marijuana on the front passenger floorboard in a pocket satchel where the defendant was sitting. The defendant admitted to the marijuana being his. Law enforcement officer also found a large amount of small baggies of marijuana, a small scale in the driver door pocket, and a vacuum seal bag in the back seat with marijuana shake in it. The total weight of the marijuana found was 4.91 grams.
Mr. Diaz, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case, and I am now revoking your bond on the first case. I told you not to pick up any new case. You've now picked up a new case. It goes with you.
Sir, can I speak?
I'm gonna get you a lawyer. Don't worry.
Going to work and I wasn't even driving shit.
Don't pick up new cases. Sir,
Come on.
sir, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to you. Please.
On April 4th, 2025, in Fleischer County, Texas, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a suspicious person call and made contact with the law enforcement officer, who stated that he observed the defendant going through a parking garage at Hobby Airport looking into parked cars. The law enforcement officer recognized the defendant as someone who had been trespassed from the airport previously. The defendant did not have a ticket for a flight out of the airport. The prior trespass at the airport was on November 17th, 2024, and was charged in Court 12, Your Honor.
Dismissed.
Okay. Mr. Bloomer, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Just don't go back to this place, man. It's not hard. You
I
know,
go there and I catch my trips and I buy my food, but those people are so crazy. They keep harassing.
they don't want you there, man. Every time you go there, you're going to get arrested.
Don't do nothing. Why am I not able to go there?
They don't want you to go there.
That's where I catch my flights.
They still have the right to say, we don't want you there. So don't go there. If you have a flight, that's a different story. But if you don't have an actual flight, just don't go there.
I'm freely able to come there. Why would somebody tell me I'm not able to come to a public business that I've always been able to come to since a long time ago?
Because if you don't have business there,
I
they
do. I
can
always
still,
have business there. I'm not there just going there. I always have business there. I either catch the bus, I go to the food court, or I catch a flight.
Mr. Bloomer, I'm asking you not to go back. There are plenty of other places that you can go to get food, water, clothes, whatever you need.
Okay, and I'm
Don't.
fine with that, but I'm asking, why am I saying that I can't go there?
Because they've trespassed you there before.
And it was
And it-
dismissed. It was no fault.
Listen to me for just 2 seconds. They've trespassed you before, so you know that they don't want you there, number one. Number two, they're saying that you're allegedly looking into cars to potentially breaking into them.
No, sir.
I get it.
I don't
That's why you're not
feel like
charged
it.
with it.
I don't even steal out here. I'm the only guy that spends money some days out here. I've spent more than $1 million in Houston, Texas. I have no reason to steal from anyone. But if you want to check anything you want, I don't steal anything. All my clothes are brand new. Everything I buy is brand new. I have no reason to steal. I catch flights, everything. I've never stolen anything out here in my life. Now, those people, they keep harassing me. That's what I'm telling you. I catch my flights there. I already have a case dismissed there. They will not leave me alone. If I come there and I catch my flight and I sit down, wait for my flight, they'll even walk up to me, watching me on the camera, like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, yeah, I'm just catching my flight. And they're like, okay, cool, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Or then they'll just walk up to me and they'll be like, hey, what are you doing here? I just came from the food court. I'm getting ready to catch my flight. Well, you got to catch your flight right now. If you don't pay for it right now, then you have to leave now. I'm like, why are you gonna force me to hurry up and pay? I'm gonna pay it right now. I just went and bought my food at the food court. I'm never doing anything there. I'm not a troublemaker here, and I don't need anyone making me seem like a troublemaker. I'm a college student, and I started college at 16, sir.
Please don't go back while this case is over.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm asking you to do.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
After the case is done, if you have a flight, then by all means, but I'm going to tell you now,
So,
every time you go back, the same thing is probably going to happen.
yes,
So
sir.
I'm saying either go to the other airport, there's 2 other ones that you can go to, or find another way.
Thank you so much.
Every time you go there, the same things can happen.
Yes, sir.
So why let it happen?
Yes, sir. I just didn't know. The only reason why I went back the second time
No,
is
stop.
because the
Stop.
first time
No,
was.
no. I don't want you to say something that hurts your case. Don't.
Yes, sir.
I will give you a lawyer now. You can talk to the lawyer and we can figure out where to go from here.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have bond conditions created just for you to sign, promising us you're not gonna go back. And after that, I'll let you talk to the lawyer and then you guys figure out how we go from here. Just don't go back.
Okay, thank
You
you.
know, there's so many other places in the world that you can go to. If you go back, this is gonna continue to happen.
Yes,
I
sir.
know you have better stuff to do than to come here.
Yes, sir.
You know, I do too. They forced me to come here. All right, ready?
Sure.
That way.
Thank you.
Here you are.
Aye for a plea.
Paying all these $10,000 bonds here, $5,000 bonds here, and here you come in wearing a Louis Vuitton jersey? Really? Really? After all the money the county has spent on representation for you, you come in here with a Louis Vuitton jersey? Oh, this is wonderful. Have we done a TRAS?
So he has a prior T-RAS, but I think it may have expired and we'll need to.
And the prior one recommended like that. But you're.
One way or the other, it's going to stop. All I'm asking you to do is be clean. That's all. It's got to happen one way or the other. Do you understand, Mr. Hunter? You now stand charged with, again, with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You have worked out an agreement where they're offering you a 12-month deferred. Deferred is a type of probation that if you complete it successfully, you do not end up with a conviction on your record. But you can't tell people it was dismissed. It's not dismissed. It's if you complete it successfully, you don't end up with a conviction. For you to complete this successfully, you must do an effective decision-making class, a gun safety class, and a TRAS. This is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill them. Forfeiture of the weapon, no drugs, no alcohol, 40 hours of community service instead of the community service. If you do a parenting class, I will consider the 40 hours of community service waived. I would like the TRAS done pretty quick. Like, with, okay, that'd be great. Yeah. Since he's here, it's probably the best thing to do. Giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You could be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal once you accept this agreement. You are stuck with us until you complete it successfully or it gets revoked. I'm going to tell you now, Mr. Hunter, that I can hold you for up to 3 years. We will do everything in our power to ensure that you get clean and remain clean. Do you understand? You hear me? How do you plead to this offense? Guilty or not guilty? I'm not going to find you guilty. I'm going to withhold that for 12 months. We're going to send you now for a TRAS. You can come back. We'll see what it says and we'll go from there. Okay.
Judge, without going too far into attorney-client communications, I have admonished Mr. Hunter that if he violates any term of the deferred, that the state can start a motion to adjudicate where he would have a hearing in front of you, and you can sentence him up to the year in the Harris County jail.
If you violate this agreement, glad you said that because I forgot to say that. If you violate this agreement by not doing what you're supposed to be doing, by testing positive, picking up a new case, having a gun, a warrant will be issued because we will file a motion to revoke your probation. We will have a hearing here. And if they prove it to me, you are facing a year in jail. Do you understand? But me, I'm not interested in jail. I'm interested in having you be clean. And we will do that however it can happen. If you're able to do it on the outside, wonderful. If you're not able to do it on the outside, we have facilities available for you at no cost to you. Do you understand? Now is the time. Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Come on up, Mr. Sandwick, rolling up here in shorts, like he's going to the beach.
No, I just. How you doing, sir?
This is not your first rodeo in the courthouse.
It's been a while since I've been in, so. Wow.
Don't come in shorts again, otherwise I will put you out.
Yes, sir. I
Understand.
apologize. Yes, sir.
It's a complete sign of disrespect.
I
There's a
didn't-
certain dress code that we have here. You now stand charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Ask who the accuser is. Please, sir.
Didn't ask you to say anything. We're going to do probable cause. I need to know what happened in this case.
All right.
On November 10th, 2024, at approximately 6:19 p.m., a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a suspicious person called at Halcyon Games in Fleischer County, Texas. Law enforcement officer made contact with the complaining witness, the store manager. Complaining witness called police regarding the defendant who came to the store and attempted to sell a previously stolen item from the same store. The manager could not prove the item brought to the store was the actual item attempted to sell. Complaining witness called the law enforcement officer and the was gone upon their arrival. Approximately 2 p.m., the complaining witness in the surveillance video, the defendant inside the store and appeared to be shopping. The defendant then took and concealed 2 MTG booster boxes inside a shoulder bag on the defendant's person. The defendant passed all points of sale without showing any intention to pay for the items. The total value of the items was $599.99. This was from a game store owner, Halcyon Games.
Mr. Sandwick, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this place. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you go back to this place, if I find that you pick up a new case, if you miss court again, a warrant will issue. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're going to give you time. So I will have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box. So we'll get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for the short.
That's all right. Just please. Wait, who filed this condition?
Yes, sir.
You are Mr. Coombs.
Yes,
Mr. Coombs, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense.
una ofensa
You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
de $4,000.
We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent.
Derecho a mantenerse
Anything you say can or will be used against you.
será usado en tu
You have the
contra.
right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On April 5th, 2025, in Harris
5
County,
de abril de
Texas,
2025,
the
el
law
gobernador
enforcement
Alberto
officer
Moreno
saw a
Cristiano
truck fail to
vio
signal
un
a
camión
left
que no
turn
dio su
and drive on
señal
the
a
wrong
voltear a
side
la
of the
izquierda
road.
y manejó
Law
en el
enforcement
lado
officer
equivocado
initiated a
de la
traffic
carretera.
stop and made
Hicieron
contact with the defendant.
alto, hicieron contacto
Law
con el
enforcement officer
acusado.
observed signs of intoxication
Observó
and called for a
señales de
second law enforcement
ebriedad.
officer to
Llamó
conduct a
al
DNA
segundo
analysis.
oficial para que le
That
hiciera
law enforcement
pruebas de
officer
campo.
observed red, watery, bloodshot eyes,
Observó los ojos rojizos,
strong odor of
aguados, un
alcohol,
fuerte olor de
poor
bebida
balance, and
alcohólica,
slurred speech.
poco
Law enforcement officer placed the
equilibrio
defendant
y
into
el
custody
habla
and searched the defendant's vehicle,
afectada.
revealing a
Hicieron,
phone
I'm
copy.
sorry, can you repeat that?
The law enforcement officer
El
placed
oficial
the
de
defendant
policía
in
puso la
custody
acusada bajo
and a search
custodia
of the defendant's
y de un
vehicle
registro
revealed
del
a phone
vehículo
cup and
no
alcoholic
una
beverages.
bebida alcohólica.
Standardized field sobriety
Hicieron las
tests
pruebas de campo
were conducted
Y
and the law enforcement officer
el oficial de
observed 6
policía
out of 6
observó 6 y
clues on the
11
HGM
pistas
test,
del
4 out
HDM,
of 8 on the
4 de un
walk
golpe
turn,
de
and 3
caminar
out
y
of 4 on
voltear
the
y
one leg
2 y un
stand.
4 de parar en una
The
pierna.
defendant refused to provide a
El
specimen,
acusado
and the blood
rehusó
warrant was
dar una
obtained and
prueba que
executed.
hicieron.
Since 2017, DWI, assault,
Agresión,
late last year evading arrest in a motor vehicle, and now another DWI.
otro. Jarebe,
If you are not in this country with permission and you go to jail, what happens?
¿qué sucede?
Mr. Coombs.
Mr. Coombs.
No, por favor.
They will deport me.
Right. I don't know what I need to do to keep my streets safe. But if I find that you, one iota,
Un chiste.
do anything to break these bond conditions, I'm going to make your bond so high you will have hair falling out. Do you understand?
¿Lo entiende?
I would figure that it's elementary that you're not to have alcohol in the car while you drive.
El alcohol.
I am now taking away your privilege to drive, and you will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I will blow a gasket. I can have a contempt hearing, and every time you drive,
Cada vez.
you can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine.
6 meses.
Do you understand?
Él entiende.
Entiendo.
I understand.
Not
Se
to
le
consume
ordena que no consuma
illegal
o
drugs.
drogas.
On one ankle, I'm going to put a scram monitor so I know that you're not consuming alcohol.
Asegurarme que usted no-
On your other ankle, you will get a GPS monitor, and I'm giving you a curfew because I do not want you out in the middle of the night. And if I find that, like I
de
said,
la calle.
Any
En medio de la noche, perdón.
of these conditions are broken,
Pero cualquiera de
into
estas
jail you will go
a la
with a
cárcel.
bond that will hit the nubes.
I understand.
I am sending notice to DPS now that I am placing a restriction on you that you are not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. Every single officer in this state will know
Sabrá.
that if you get pulled over and you don't have an interlock, into jail you will go. Because the document we're sending now to DPS notifies every officer that you're not allowed to drive without an ignition interlock in the car.
Gato en su carro.
Do you
Lo
understand?
entiende.
Entiendo.
I understand.
The worst possible thing you can do in the short life that we have, Mr. Coombs, is get into a car and drive.
Hacerse un carro y manejar.
Entiendo.
I understand.
Judge, what was the curfew?
9 to 6.
9, 6.
You're ordered not to consume alcohol,
Tiene que no
illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication.
medicamentos no
You will be
recetados.
randomly tested. If you test positive for drugs, alcohol, your bond will be revoked. You will go into custody.
Revocará.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Newling. If he tells me that he cannot get a hold of you, if you pick up a new case, if you become a danger to my city, you know what happens.
Sabe lo que va a suceder.
Do you understand?
Que lo entiende.
Entiendo.
I understand.
Good
Morning.
And you're charged with possession of marijuana, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Oh, goodness. You're charged with driving while intoxicated, possession of marijuana, and harassment of a public servant. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or 2,000. Are you high right now?
What? Like, what'd you say?
We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, man. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Oh,
On April 6, 2025, a traffic stop was conducted for the defense vehicle failing to maintain a single lane, following too closely. The defendant captured a pit stop at a flashing red light intersection. The officer, on contact with the defendant, the officer observed the driver and passenger to make further movements towards the center of the vehicle. The defendant was identified by Texas driver's license. The officer observed slurred speech and bloodshot watery eyes. The alcoholic beverage was emitting from the defendant's breath, and the strong of marijuana was being. The defendant admitted to having marijuana in the vehicle, and the officer located a leafy substance in the console of the vehicle upon probable. The officer also observed an open beer in the motor vehicle and another Ziploc bag with large amounts of marijuana. The officer also observed a Ziploc bag of narcotic mushrooms and a scale with marijuana residue on the surface located next to a large stack of other Ziploc bags. The defendant had $274 in cash. The defendant claimed ownership of the narcotics in the bag as well and admitted that the items were marijuana and
Psilocybin,
excuse
the
me.
mushrooms.
Yes, sir. The defendant stated that she drank one margarita and that she also smoked marijuana. Certain sobriety tests were conducted and the officer observed 4 to 6 clues on the HGN, 4 to 8 on the walking turn, and 2 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The defendant refused to provide a blood specimen. A search warrant was obtained. The defendant flailed and resisted during the blood draw. The defendant continued to flail and spit on officers and was eventually transferred to a hospital. Blood draw was unsuccessful due to the defendant flailing. Finally, there was another attempt and the blood draw was successful.
Silas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you better address it, because if you don't, and it becomes a problem, I'm going to do it for you. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm sending you for a test right now and you're to come right back. Do you understand? If you fail to take the test, if you fail to come back, a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
So you want me to take a test right now?
Right
Yeah,
now.
it's not gonna come
Stop.
up clean.
I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. Come back and then we'll talk further. I'm going to appoint you a lawyer today. Take the test, come back. You understand?
Okay,
You're not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand? If you use after today, it's not going to go well. As far as the marijuana is concerned, I'm going to test you like 50 days from today to ensure there's enough time for it to pass. If you continue to test positive, do you understand?
yeah,
I'm giving you the opportunity now to stop on your own. If you're unable to, that's when things will go sideways real quick. Does she have a valid license? State? And then any prior DWIs as well?
It's a troopers and her license is valid.
Okay, all right. So for now, I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Ramona. I'm gonna have you get with Fleischer and I'll see you in about half an hour,
okay.
please. You know, pills are a complete curse on our nation because depending on what you're taking, they become so powerful, the addiction, that for you to get off, when you try to get off by yourself, you'll convulse, seize, you can have a heart attack. Not only that, you build up a tolerance and you keep taking, you keep taking, you keep taking. At some point, you will put your lungs to sleep and you die. It happens every single hour in this nation.
Yeah.
I don't want you to use. If I find that you're using, then I'm going to put you in jail and you're just going to stay with me. It's going to happen one way or the other. I don't want you to use, and I'm going to test you like crazy to ensure that you're not using. Do you understand?
What if I get it medically? Like,
A prescription.
yeah, like a prescription.
That can still be abused. And if you're going to pill mills to just shop for prescriptions, I have a problem with that as well. Just because the last thing I want, there's an accident in this case, right?
Like a car accident?
The last thing I want is another death on the street and something major to happen. So I don't want you to use. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Did we put a scram on her ankle, right? Yeah. That device is going to tell me if you're consuming alcohol at any time. Do not put anything in your body that has alcohol in it. NyQuil, cakes, candies,
I took
foods,
I took
gums.
Mucinex for coming, and I'm sick right now. So I do nasal spray.
Okay.
They told me that
Before you put anything in your body, read the instructions to ensure that there's no alcohol in it. I have everybody and their mom telling me here, well, I took NyQuil. I took this. It doesn't matter. You're not to use anything that has alcohol in it.
Mhm.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't use anything unless you have a valid prescription. And then I don't want you to abuse it, even if you do get one.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with her.
Mhm.
Again, I'm going to test you 50 days from today. If you're still testing positive for weed, it's not going to go well. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I had another question. Whenever I went to
Hold on. No. Ask your lawyer. I don't want you to, I've got a bunch of DAs here and I don't want you to say something that hurts your case. So ask the lawyer first. She can always come up to me and then we can talk. Don't just start asking things here.
I'm like, no, it was just about the court date. It was about the court date.
Caramba la bamba.
I'm like,
You
yeah,
can pick whatever day you want. I don't care.
okay. Okay. I'll talk to you about that then.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Okay. All right.
You didn't do anything until you sent her.
Okay, so yeah, I want to scram on her ankle and I want her to test weekly so that we know she's not using.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I wanted to talk to you about that too.
Okay.
I'm going to waive all your fees. It's never about the money. I don't care about the money.
No,
It's about you not using and staying out of trouble.
I don't have no right card.
She can tell you how to do that.
Monday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Or
Just one time a week, random. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you have to leave.
If as fast as we can get it to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
today my dad's here, but that's for today.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, Miss Ellis.
Be excused, Judge.
Yes.
Okay.
We had,
All right. You are Kara Lopez.
Yes.
Ms. Lopez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On March 26, 2025, an officer was dispatched to a crash on Antoine Drive in Orange County, Texas. The officer learned that an unknown party called 911 at the time of the crash. It was informed by another officer who arrived on scene that the victim was being treated by ambulance. The officer informed the other officer that the defendant had already been transported to receive medical care. After spoke with the will witness, who stated that the defendant was a sole occupant and struck the witness's vehicle causing damage. The will witness stated they observed strong odor of alcoholic beverage committing from the defendant and the will witness got in contact with him. The will witness stated that the defendant was still in the driver's seat at the time of their interaction and that it was clear that the defendant was intoxicated. The will witness reported that the defendant had slurred speech, was incoherent, and not making sense. The police stated to the will witness, I don't know why. The witness reported that he being called, the defendant cell phone crash. And immediately after that call, the defendant grabbed a bottle of vodka and consumed the entire thing in front of the will witness.
What?
Yes, Sherman. That's what I have.
She took a bottle of vodka and consumed an entire bottle of vodka in front of the will witness?
That's what I have here. The will witness noted that the defendant drank the alcohol bottle as if the defendant was drinking water.
Just when you think you've heard it all, man. I mean, really.
The officer, the officer observed an empty bottle of chocolate vodka, and then went to the hospital to make contact with the defendant. The officer observed the strong odor of alcohol beverage from the defendant, observed that he had slurred speech and glossy eye. The officer, read the DIC form for the defendant when the defendant became coherent, and it proceeded to a breath test and blood test. The hospital discharged the defendant, and the defendant was transported to the Joint Processing Center, but was unable to perform the state arrest for sobriety test due to the defendant's failure to follow instructions and to keep the defendant's and the inability of the defendant to keep her head up. The officer took the defendant's failure to follow instructions as a refusal. The officer was unable to get the defendant to stand upright to perform HGN, And due to the physical conditions, the officer did not, ask the defendant to perform walking turn or to go on stand. The officer concluded, the officer offered the opportunity to provide breath and blood, the defendant declined to provide, breath or blood, and the officer proceeded with a residual search warrant for the defendant's blood. The officer was advised, sorry. The officer was advised the blood would be ready in 2 to 3 days. The officer noted that, that's all I have.
Do you have blood back? Or no?
I do not. I'm not sure if that in the is referring to. The warrant was presented to the hospital, Your Honor, and a nurse advised that the blood is ready for 2 to 3 days. The officer.
Do you have any pride to guys?
There was one in Caldwell County that was dismissed, Your Honor.
License?
License is. Your Honor?
This is the judge?
It's not on docket. I have to give you a case number. You ready?
Yeah.
255-7402.
Thank you.
If you speak English, right?
Yes.
If you have a problem with alcohol or drugs, now is the time for you to address it. Because stop. There's nothing that you can say at this moment. I'm warning you now, because this is the only one that you're going to get. I will do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs. I don't care who you are, what color you are, if you're a small farm animal. If I find that you're using, it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now is the time for you to try to get any help if you need help, because I don't know you. I've never met you before. All I know is what they're telling me. And if that's in fact true, now is the time for you to address it. I am going to put a monitor on your ankle so I know that you're not consuming alcohol at any time. I will not entertain any excuses like it's mouthwash, it's a tequila lollipop, hair dye. I've heard it all, and excuses mean nothing to me. If you consume, it's not going to go well. Because of I don't want you in the car driving. You're not allowed to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you do, it's really not going to go well for you. I am putting now a restriction on your license that you are not allowed to drive any vehicle that's not equipped with an ignition interlock on it. If you're caught, and I'm sending this notice to DPS, so everybody, every officer in this state knows, if they pull you over and they don't see an interlock, they will take you to jail. Do you understand? And then you and I will have problems. Just don't.
Judge, this is Carla Lopez first,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you said no driving?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then a scram, please.
Yes, Judge.
You have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am. We will give you an application. You missed court once. A warrant is now in effect for you because you missed court the first time. I will reinstate your bond now, but this is the only get out of jail free card that you get. If you miss court again, you violate any of these conditions, you will stay with me. And I don't know who you have in this life, but if you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000, you will be stuck like Chuck until this case is over. Do you understand? All right, come up. We'll have you sign this. I need you to fill an application. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application and we'll go from there.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you are Said, is it Said?
Say it, yeah.
Said. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. On April 5th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officers observed the defense vehicle going 105 miles an hour on the Northwest Freeway in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. The traffic stop was initiated, and the officer observed the defendant to be the driver and the sole occupant. The defendant was identified by a German identification card. Observe bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and strong odor of an alcoholic beverage from the defendant. Defendant stated he would not answer questions and would not perform scenarios for his sobriety test. A breath test was refused, and the officer observed 3 empty beer bottles and an empty bottle of wine in his motor vehicle. A blood warrant was obtained and a blood draw was executed.
Are you trying to tell me that he's consuming while driving?
I just have a moment, Your Honor. Does not specify, Your Honor.
Regardless, Mr. Said, you are not allowed to drive unless you have a valid license to drive. You understand?
It's your-
All I heard here was a German identification card. If you do not have a license to drive and liability insurance in your name, then you're not allowed to drive, and that is a condition of your bond. If I find that you violate these conditions, then I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bond. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, into jail you will go. No more PR bonds.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission, if your paperwork is not done the right way and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put an immigration detainer and you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this case is over with, which could be 6 months, and then you get shipped off to immigration. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No, Your Honor, I'm not allowed to work right now.
Okay, I can have you fill out an application. I need to know everything about you, how much money you have at the bank, how you get money, how kind of cars you have, property, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, IRAs. I'll take a look to see whether you qualify, and then we'll go from there. We'll have you give you an application. I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona, and then we'll have you take your signature box.
You said no driving?
Unless, does he have any kind of,
From what I have, Your Honor, he does not have a license.
I do have a license.
we'll s-
Without insurance and.
with the no driving without a valid license and insurance? Okay, all right. To qualify, you have to be at the poverty threshold to qualify. If you make the kind of money that you make, you don't qualify. This life is not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you spend. Spend too much and you get into a hole, we can't foot the bill for the taxpayers,
Yes, Your Honor.
make good money, which is great, right?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my wife.
Stop. I don't want you to say anything. Just, so we're going to give you time. There's a gajillion and one lawyers out there. It's about you finding the one. It's like buying a car. You don't go, when you're starting off in life, you don't go buy a Lamborghini or a Bentley or a Ferrari. You go to Toyota, Honda, and lawyers, 99% of them will put you on a payment plan as you go. You have to negotiate with them. Don't take them at first blush. There's literally a gajillion and one lawyer, criminal defense lawyers out there. So if you don't find one or one's not willing to negotiate, go to the next one, because there's tons of them out there. Okay. All right. We're going to give you 30 days. Don't wait. There's a lot of timing requirements with the DWI. So don't sit there and, I'm going to wait until 29 days to start looking. You're only hurting yourself. Okay. Okay. Good luck. Oh, I would also probably look for one, the immigration as well, if you're not a citizen of this country. Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good morning, Mr. White. You were charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. What you're going to do, probable cause, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. On April 5th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officer who dispatched reference to a minor accident call. An officer contacted the defendant who was standing next to his motor vehicle. When the officer arrived, the defendant stated he drank a total of 5 beers that day. The defendant stated he last drank 30 minutes before the accident. Strong odor of an alcoholic beverage was emitting from the vehicle, and the defendant was transported to the hospital to treat injuries. The defendant was stated he was scared to blow and fail the test. DSC was read, and the defendant eventually submitted to the breath test and blew .091.
So there's an accident.
Yes, Your Honor.
I guess they took him to the hospital. They didn't do filter ride tests. It just,
Yes, Your Honor. If I just at the moment, I'm trying to clarify here the DIMS.
don't. Please.
An accident, the officers find the defendant standing outside of the truck.
Alone?
So, Your Honor, and then stated he was following someone and looking at his GPS because he wasn't familiar with the area and was unaware that cars were parked on the side of the street. The defendant said that he had been drinking throughout the day. Total of 5 beers, the last one was 30 minutes prior. Officers observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverages from the vehicle. EMS was called to the scene because the defendant had a gash on his chin. He was then transported to the hospital to be checked out. After being released from the hospital, the officers asked him to consent to a breath test. And the defendant said he was scared to blow because he knows he just finished a beer and knew he was going to fail the test. The defendant then agreed to blowing once they got to JPC, and the defendant.
So they took him directly from the hospital to the JPC?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mhm. Okay. Mr. White, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. Do not consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Can you prior DWIs and a license, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a true first and the license is eligible.
Great. Unless you have liability insurance in your name as well, you're not allowed to drive. Do you understand? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, sir?
I'm not sure yet. I can make a phone call and see if he'll take my case. If not, I'm gonna need a court
Look,
appointment.
I can give you time. Just, time is of the essence. This is the DWI, so don't sit there and wait a month, 2 months, because you're only hurting yourself.
I can go make the phone call right now.
No. Don't do anything. I will give you time. You don't need to run out, rush now, but I'm saying don't sit there, wait a week or two, because you're only hurting yourself. So, what I can have you do is sign a reset with Ramona. I'll have you get Fleischer for your bond conditions. After that, you're free to go. Don't use. Do you understand?
Yeah, so if I understand, you're just gonna reset it and that's gonna give me time to either get a lawyer or y'all gonna appoint one.
Right, so.
I'll have to come
go out
back and do
there,
the same
see-
thing I'm doing now.
Have trouble, come back in the next setting and then we can talk.
Come back in the next
The next reset date, yeah.
set. Okay, so I will have to come
We're
back
gonna
to
give you
court.
30 days from today. So we're gonna give you a lot of time. If you still have issues, come back and we can
I
talk.
was just kind of hoping I didn't have to come back.
I wish I had hair. Ain't gonna happen. Well, maybe I get an implant. Good morning, Mr. Valerio. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one.
On April 6, 2025, in Harrison County, Texas, an officer received a call to assist the department regarding a driver who passed out in a drive-thru of a Burger King restaurant. The firefighter told the officer he saw the defendant passed out behind the wheel, the engine is still running, and the key in the ignition. Firefighter woke the driver up, and eventually the officer came on scene. He identified the defendant by his Texas driver's license. The officer noticed the strong odor of alcoholic beverage, glossy bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and unsteady balance from the defendant. The defendant also appeared confused. The defendant stated he left Bango's bar and where he had one Corona beer. The officer conducted standardized first sobriety test where he witnessed 6 out of 6 clues on the HGN test, 6 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and then read the DIC form. The defendant refused. A blood warrant was signed and blood draws.
All right, sir, I'm going to find that there is sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? Do you have any prior DWIs and a license?
And the license is eligible.
Okay, you're not allowed to drive unless you also have valid liability insurance in your name. That is a condition of your bond as well. Do you understand? No alcohol, no illegal drugs. Do not pick up any new cases, otherwise you will go back to jail. I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll have you get with Fleischer your bond conditions, and after that, you guys are free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Guys, this was Snowden.
Good morning, Mr. Carlton. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. On April 5th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a person down call and made contact with the real witness, a law enforcement officer who stated that they found the defendant asleep behind the wheel of a vehicle that had rolled onto the median of the road. The vehicle was running but not moving when they found the vehicle. The real witness woke the defendant up and placed the defendant in the back of their patrol car. I should specify the real witness was the law enforcement officer. Law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant who was slurring his words and had dilated pupils. The defendant admitted to drinking 2 beers at a restaurant, and the defendant was presented with a DIC form that refused to sign it. Standardized sobriety test was later conducted, and the law enforcement officer observed 6 out of 6 clues on the HGN, 4 out of 8 on the walking turn, and 0 out of 4 on the one leg stand. The defendant eventually consented to a breath test in blue 0.063 and 0.064.
Mr. Carlton, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. If I find that you're using, I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Can you see if he has any prior DWIs? And then if he has a valid license, please.
Yes. His license is not eligible, Your Honor, and no prior age.
Okay. You are not allowed to drive. I don't care what you have to do in this life. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to say 50 kids, do not drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today. This is a promise you're going to make to me. You can't justify getting into a car for any reason. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You could be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, Mr. Carlton? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to give you time to go hire a lawyer. I will have you first come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I will get you to Ramona where we will have you sign a reset. You will get with Felicia for your bond condition where you promise us you're not going to use.
Sure.
Don't pick up any new cases. Don't be a danger to my city. Do you understand?
Sure.
Okay,
Gotcha.
come on. Speak English, sir.
Yes, English.
Mr. Castro, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On April 3rd, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, a law enforcement officer reviewed information about a pre-takeover event and went to the location that was put on social media. The law enforcement officers conducted surveillance on the location in an unmarked vehicle and witnessed a vehicle making donuts and get within close proximity of several parked occupied vehicles. Law enforcement officer initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle and detained the defendant, the driver of the vehicle making donuts.
Any prior reckless driving cases, and then can you see if he has a license, please?
There are no prior reckless driving cases, Judge. There was a DWI and a debating vehicle out of Dauphin County. Just
At Hidalgo?
addition.
Okay, anything else?
And driver.
Okay, Mr. Castro, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now not to participate in this activity anymore or drive recklessly, maniacally. If I find that you do, the first thing I'm going to do is put you in jail. And the next thing is I will take your ability to drive away from you while this case is open. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive blows. Not only that, people who participate in these types of activities, cops and DA's office can seize and take your car away from you permanently. And I've seen it happen on multiple occasions where people lose their $100,000 car because they. Do you understand?
Sir.
You put bond conditions, no donuts, street takeovers, reckless driving, racing, et cetera, please. Mr. Castro, do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes.
We're going to give you time. So I'll have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, I'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. Do not leave until you sign the bond conditions. After that, we'll let you go. When you come back, please have a lawyer.
Judge, I apologize. Did you say no driving or just no
No,
reckless?
no reckless driving, donuts, street takeovers, racing, and all of that. Is it Taishika Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Man, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or $4,000. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. The right to remain present if you cannot afford one.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. On March 26, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to a disturbance call. The officer met with the complaining witness who stated that the defendant is from roommate. The complaining witness stated that they got into an argument over a broom and the defendant struck her on the head with the broom, causing pain. The officer observed a raised bump on the complaining witness's head that was starting to become discolored.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this complaining witness. You're also ordered not to be in possession of weapons. If you violate this order, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am?
No, sir.
There's a protective order that has been issued in this case. I would get to know it. If you do something to violate the protective order, they can file additional charges against you, a violation of a protective order, and that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. Do you understand? It's one of the worst cases you can pick up. So don't violate the protective order.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No.
Okay. I can appoint you a lawyer or I can have you fill out an application. Let me see if you filled one out first. Hold on. I have an application on file already. I have it on file. So what I can do is I can appoint you a lawyer today. We're going to create bond conditions for you. Do not leave until you sign those bond conditions. Otherwise, I'll issue a warrant. The bond conditions, no contact, no weapons.
Okay.
All right. For now, I'll have you go to Ramona, sign a reset, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Gomez. So he's got two cases, right? The trespass
Judge.
and the DWI?
Taking time served to the DWI, they're dismissing the criminal trespass.
Now, if I'm correct, you're on felony probation in another county, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it?
It's Bear County, Judge, it's aggravated robbery.
You're looking at 20 years in prison, you know, not only that, it's a 3G offense, meaning that if they revoke you and send you to prison, you have to do half the time before you're even eligible for parole. So if they send you to 12, you're doing 6 before you're even eligible. Now you got these two cases. When is it going to register to you that we mean business, that you can't continue like this unless you want to go to prison, of course? You need to understand that by pleading guilty to these cases here now, they may use this to revoke your probation in Bear County. Do you understand?
Sure.
Now, I don't know if they're going to, but they can. And I'm going to tell you, the more cases that you pick up, the higher likelihood you have of that happening, because they are going to be like, well, this guy just, doesn't take us seriously.
Sure.
You are giving up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement, Mr. Gomez. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the rights to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, you're done with this. You can never come back and change this or undo this. When you're in a car and you're driving and you get pulled over, the first thing an officer does is they look at your criminal history. If they roll up to your car, they look at and they see that you're on probation for an aggravated robbery, you have been charged with a trespass and a DWI, and they come up to you. You think it's going to go well? So I probably wouldn't give them the ammunition from now on. If you want to get lit, don't get into a car. Even if you've had a sip of alcohol, you understand?
Yes, sure.
As part of the agreement, it's 20 days in jail on the DWI, 16 days credit, and they're going to dismiss the trespass. Is this how you understand it? You also, I'm going to make a docket notation that I have advised you that by pleading guilty to these offenses, it's possible they revoke your probation in Bear County. Do you still want to do this, or do you want to wait to see what happens over there?
To do this.
You want to do this?
And he's been in communication with probation over there, Judge. And basically, they gave him the option of either being unsatisfactorily terminated, is that correct, Mr. Gomez?
Yes, unsuccessful.
Or he could have it extended and attempt to get it successfully terminated. And so he chose to have it extended to pursue that option. And they were already aware of these cases, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
How do you plead to the driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. I will sentence you to the agreement. I'm going to suspend your license for 180 days. Do not drive. Otherwise, you're going to be right back in jail. All right? Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Reyes. Sir, you are charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On April 4th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an individual notified officers of a motor vehicle stopped on the roadway. The officer observed the vehicle stopped in the intersection between two lanes. A traffic stop was initiated and the officer observed the defendant behind the wheel, leaning over, with his eyes closed. The officer woke up the defendant, and the defendant did not acknowledge the officer's knocking on the motor vehicle, and the motor vehicle began to move. The motor vehicle fled for approximately 2 miles, stopping in front of a residence. The defendant exited the motor vehicle and was handcuffed. The defendant stated he did not see the officer with lights on behind him. The officer observed the defendant come to a complete stop with designated areas to properly use turn signals. The odor of alcoholic beverage was emitting from the defendant's person. The defendant stated he drank 3 to 4 beers. He was identified by his Texas driver's license, and on the standardized sobriety test, the officer observed 6 out of 6 clues on the HGN, walk and turn, and 2 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. Defendant considered to do a breath test and blew 0.15 and 0.147.
Okay. Any prior DWIs?
No, Your Honor.
License?
Eligible.
Mr. Reyes, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, you pick up a new case, you become a danger to my city, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes.
You're not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance. That's also a condition of your bond. You have a lawyer. Because you have one, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Zaman. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand your conditions?
Yes, sir.
I'll have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. We'll have you get with Fleischer for your bond conditions, and then you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Please. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On April 4th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to a traffic hazard call. A motor vehicle was stopped on the shoulder of a freeway, slowing down traffic. The officers observed the defendant sitting in the parked motor vehicle, and the defendant admitted to driving the motor vehicle to the location and being its registered owner. The officer detected a mild odor of alcoholic beverage, clear, glossy eyes, and that the defendant was not sitting on the standardized sobriety tests were conducted, and the officer observed 6 out of 6 quarters in the HGN, 1 out of 4 on the one-leg stand, 2 out of 8 on the walk. The defendant refused the breath test initially, and then eventually consented to a breath test. The results of which were 0.118 and 0.132.
So he's just sitting in a parking lot? Does an officer see him at all when?
Sorry, Your Honor, he was stopped on the shoulder of the freeway.
Oh,
slowing
okay.
down.
Got it. All right. Okay, Mr. Weishuhn, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now, does he have a valid license?
Yes, Your Honor, he does.
I'm now placing a restriction on your license. I'm now ordering you not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have one, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand? I don't care what you have to do, where you have to go. If the car doesn't have an interlock, don't drive it. We are sending notice to DPS in Austin so that every single officer in this state knows. So if you get pulled over, they're going to know that you need one. If you don't have one, they're going to take you to jail. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication, I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. Because you have a lawyer.
He already has the interlock on the car, Judge.
Great. Okay, so just provide proof to them, or they should be able to look it up, and then we're all happy. Just don't use. You understand? Because you
Judge.
have a lawyer, I'm going to waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but stay in touch with Mr. Bresson. He'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If you pick up a new case, if you're a danger to my city, if you just, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? Okay, guys,
Thank you, Judge.
please.
Permission to approach?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, I'm here on Shamar Anderson.
Okay.
So I just wanted to approach on this one. I was talking to the coordinator. It is an older case.
It's 370 days old.
So he doesn't live in Harris County, Your Honor. And so that's what really kind of has led to the delay. So I just got appointed today. I would ask for at least 30 days to be able to review everything.
I mean, I'm not gonna, this case is 400, he's taken off on multiple occasions. Is there an offer in this case?
There is a time served, Your Honor.
Is that it?
They haven't talked to the complainant, Your Honor. They haven't called the complainant.
We've not made contact with the claimant, Your Honor.
Hey, I'm getting my ass chewed because of all these cases that are so darn old, so no more. So I'll give you guys 2 weeks. You need to get in contact with the complaining witness if it's needed, because I don't know.
It is late.
So you've got 2 weeks,
Yes, Your Honor.
so no more. So get on it, and then he's gotta be back in 2 weeks and it's clear trial on that day.
It's plea or trial that day.
It's 370 days old. I mean, really, I have to say when at some point. I can't just keep letting it go.
Well, can I ask you this, Your Honor? Since he does live in San Antonio, if that is our, can we get 3 weeks?
Come up.
I just want to make sure, I don't want to create an issue with him and his travel. So I just want to be clear with the court. I understand, Your Honor.
Literally, Mr. Anderson, you literally bend over backwards to not put people in jail.
Sir.
Your case is nearly 400 days old, and it's time to make a decision on what to do.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to sit here and play any more games.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks for you guys to meet to decide what you want to do with this case.
Sir.
But at 370 days, that's it. Cases should be resolved at 180 days.
Sir.
Do you understand?
Sir.
So be back here in 2 weeks. Let us know what you want to do. You must meet with them to figure out, look at the evidence, see what's out there, and just make a decision. It's not hard. It's a trespass. It's not a capital case, you know? If it was something serious, then yeah, but I mean, it's a trespass. It's not a capital trespass, you know? Okay. All right, guys.
Your Honor, if I may, this stems from a bond violation report here where there's 2 readings of positive alcohol on his portable device that he currently has, Your Honor. I've discussed this at length with our client, and as you may understand, in our experience, we certainly hate to provide any type of excuse whatsoever when it comes down to this. Discusses with our client, he's adamant that this was stemming from consumption of medication during a period where he was unfortunately under the weather, Judge. And he did send me the pictures of the medications that he consumed. It's Theraflu, Dayquil, the typical over-the-counter medications, Your Honor.
None of that is going to test positive for alcohol. You know?
I've admonished him on this, Judge. I made it abundantly clear this should not be something that, should even come out like this way. This is something that we would graciously ask the court here to consider seriously admonishing our client, Judge, but allowing him to remain on bond. I think we're close to a resolution on this case, Judge. And we're looking to hopefully get this resolved as quickly as possible.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm sending you now for a drug and alcohol test. I've ordered you not to use. We've had pre-trial tell you not to use. And you now have on 2 different occasions tested positive for alcohol. So either you don't care about court orders or you have a problem. I'm sending you now for a drug and alcohol test. You were to come back, and it's now late, so we'll have you come back Monday with the results. Do not use. Do you understand?
Entiende. Lo entiende.
Okay, I'm sending him now, Mario, and then we can regroup on Monday, okay?
That'll work, Your Honor.
It's
Maybe
gonna be- Wow, yeah.
Okay,
You're supposed to
thank you,
come
Judge.
back here Monday and I'm sending you for a drug and alcohol test. If you fail to take the test, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Para su arresto. ¿Lo entiende?
You're to come back Monday and then we'll discuss the results. If you fail to come back Monday, likewise, you will be arrested.
Será registrado.
Okay? Take a seat for me, sir.
Basically, Your Honor.
Thanks, Mario. See
Yeah,
you.
we can judge. Take care.
Hi, Mr. Sweat.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
What's the word?
Judge, so, he's been cleared now.
Great.
That's my understanding. Well, I do have to advocate for my client, Judge. When he first
I'm
signed
not
up,
gonna begrudge you for advocating for your client. Absolutely not.
a couple things. When he first signed up, I admonished him. We went through the paperwork. We talked about what to expect. He was expecting a pickup date of April 16th. And so all of a sudden, he wasn't cleared medically for some reason. We
Well,
don't,
because he was allegedly coming down, right?
I don't know who makes that determination.
If you're in a state that it's not an appropriate state for transport,
Right.
he's subject to injury to himself. Transport, it's a huge liability for them. So they want to make sure that you're in the right state of mind for when you do get transported. I mean, it's only logical because the last thing they want is to get sued because they try to take you and you're not in a right condition and something happens, right?
Sure.
Do you know that every time someone comes to transport you from this state to the other, it's $4,000 to $6,000. It's not cheap.
Sure.
Someone has to pay for it, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of times they'll come after you to foot the bill. So I don't know. But regardless, it's a 30 days, right? He's a Michigander.
Correct, Your Honor.
When are they coming?
They said they can be here with up to 10 days, so the reset date is the first, but they should be.
What is it?
The reset date for this case will be the first for
Okay.
3 days, but they probably should be here after things come up to 10 days.
Okay, so it's still within the 30, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, it's still within the 30, which is what the statute says. So no one's doing anything to you that would harm your interests in any way. We want to make sure that you can be done in a safe and effective way,
I understand.
So hopefully within the next 10 days.
Hopefully, Judge, yes. Okay.
Okay. He has a pre-signed waiver anyways, right?
Yes, and it was entered on the.
Even if I wanted to give him a bond, I can't.
Judge, the only thing the issue that
Sign waiver.
that brings up though is we require him to sign the waiver of formal extradition and everybody signs this.
No. There's a document that I signed ordering
Did Hugh Hunter?
for his to be remanded. There's no real formal document for him to sign. It's a document that they filed to me and I signed it for him to go get picked up. So theoretically, there's nothing for him to sign.
What I'm speaking of is the actual waiver of formal extradition proceedings that's signed by
They
him, by
they
you.
probably signed that because they didn't see that there was a pre-signed waiver to begin with, a lot of times.
Right, and that's my only issue. When we're talking about this, there's an expectation that he signs this and he gets 14 days. And this is done on all the cases. This is like the fifth time I've had to explain to somebody, hey, it's 14 days. No, it's not really 14 days and we're up here, but I signed the document, but the document says 14 days and I'm looking silly up here because we're talking about 14 days and all
I did
of a
read,
sudden it's 30 days.
Get it? But sometimes you're not going to get the document that there's a pre-signed waiver until after the fact as well. It's not that you don't look silly. You just need to advise them, hey, sometimes we documents after the fact and that's just the way it goes, Not everything is done, 100% every single time. It just,
so there's not an extension on the waiver. It's just, okay.
they have up to 30 days to come get you, right? Because it's a pre-signed waiver. You have already waived extradition. I can't give you a bond. Even I thought that you were Mary Poppins.
I was just told that Harris County honors the 14 days,
You can,
is what I was told.
are you listening to jailhouse lawyers?
No, I actually, remember the last time you said, sometimes we don't read the
I
fine
told
print?
you, don't listen to other people. When there's a pre-signed waiver, statutorily, it's 30 days. They have to come get you. The 14 days is really 30 days. We do it as a courtesy. So in reality, it's 30 for everyone.
Sure.
We just Because we have so many people in jail, as a courtesy, we give 14 days. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So he's reset to 5-1? Okay, thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
You're the best, Ricardo.
I'm here on Tomas Nava Junior, NAVA.
Okay.
There's a BVR on this case. I've spoken to Mr. Nava about what's going on in his life and everything. So the allegations of the.
Where's Mr. Nava?
He's right here.
Come up.
The allegations are that there was one test where he tested positive for alcohol at a 0.04 and 0.05 level, Judge. I've spoken to him and made explicitly clear that there's no tolerance, especially in your court, Your Honor, for any alcohol at all. This is the only positive alcohol test that he's had in the 5 months or so that he's been on bond in your court, Your Honor. He's clean now, has been clean, is not drinking.
Am I supposed to take that for?
No, but if he were to be tested for ETG or anything today, he'll be clean, Your Honor. He's
There
been,
was 18 skin tests between February 24th and March 31st.
sure. So I've also spoken to him about that. I'm trying to see what we can do.
DWI second, I've ordered you not to use. You've skipped 18 tests and now you're testing positive. Am I supposed to just let you go?
I would ask that he be released. He's gotten a new job, Your Honor. So his dad just got his legs amputated, Your Honor. He's been trying to take care of his dad, which is what's been going on in his life. And he's the main caretaker for his father.
These are things you think about when you're on bond for DWI second. We've ordered you not to use. Actually, it's his third DWI because he's had one dismissed. Oh. I don't know what I need to do to get a hold of you. You know, it's unacceptable.
And I've explained this, like I said, I've extolled all of these, these values to him and talked to him about this, especially in the wake of the BVR being issued to him. And how important it is that he can't miss a single blow. And, I'm telling him, and I have told him and admonished
Send
him.
him for a test right now.
Yes, sir.
Come back. Okay, let's go, Felicia. Let's send him.
Yes, Judge.
All right. If he has to come back, then we'll talk.
Yes,
He
sir.
comes back.
Thank you.
All right, great.
So Mr. Nava, his UA came back negative. I spoke to Street Cross.
Come up, Mr. Nava. I'm now placing a device on your ankle that's going to tell me if you ever test positive again. If you ever miss, if this battery dies, so will your bond. You test positive for alcohol, guess what happens to the bond?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
Excuses.
Right.
I don't give a rat's behind about excuses. I don't care what you tell me. You've been admonished at least twice not to use. So for you to come in here and give an excuse or give an excuse for the missed blows, it's disingenuous.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not going to take any more. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he'll have the scram device today.
Want to get rid of the portable?
No, he's going to keep it.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, Craig.
As
We're done.
far- the Scram monitors 24 hours. We're just gonna ask those, the portable plus the Scram. Scram is.
This case is 153 days old. What are we doing with it anyways?
So we're waiting, so we signed the blood discovery order today. We're waiting on the state to talk to the witness, I think, involved in the accident.
This case is way too much drama for me.
Sure.
So in 30 days, it's clear trial. I'm not going to wait anymore. You're just way too much drama for me, Mr. Niles. So I'm going to set your case. By then it'll be 180 days. By that time, it's clear trial.
Did y'all get a hold of anybody? by any chance?
No, our Spanish speaker called the complainant and he got voicemail, and did not get a voicemail.
So I would send it to the investigator now so that we don't wait anymore, please. But 30 days, you must be back here ready for a plea or trial. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll take off the portable device. But once he gets the scram device, then we'll take off the portable device.
Thank you.
And back in 30, clear trial.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Thank you.
I don't know if Chad's gonna put it today, but his client's here.
Oh,
He said he was supposed to be approachable soon, his attorney.
come up, Mr. Villasana. Picked up a new case. Homeboy picked up a new case? Go. In the box. So I don't know what to tell you, but I'm gonna have to appoint someone in the interest of justice, because have you reached out to Mr. Henderson? He's just so busy, it's hard to.
He had a conflict, he tried to reset it, and I told him, his office that I couldn't reset it.
He's picked up
It
a new
was sent by
case.
you and I couldn't. reset it.
So appoint him someone now, if you don't mind, please.
Judge, the DVR is for this delay.
Who?
There was some.
Well, he picked up a new,